Hey everybody, welcome to Moment of Clarity. Please share this, let people know. I do these every single weekday, except sometimes. And you can get them all at leecamp.com. So I've started taking recommendations for the Moment of Clarity topics from you guys, from the viewers. I'll tell you how to send yours in at the end of the episode if you want to do that. But this week's was recommended by Jim Pruse, and Jim emailed to say that he was responding to a recent Moment of Clarity I did, in which I spoke about how horrible capitalism is and how it creates hunger around the world, even though we live in a post-scarcity world. If we actually spread the resources in a remotely fair manner, rather than having 78% of everything under Jeff Bezos' ass, then there could be no more hunger, no more extreme poverty, no more destitution, no more death from those things. So Jim emailed me to say I had made a common error. I had gotten it wrong. I'd made the common error of confusing corporatism with capitalism. Ah, yes, this wonderful and largely idiotic argument. It's the great capitalism defense. Basically, the capitalism promoters realized, people seem to be getting a little upset that we are amassing all of everything into the hands of a tiny number of people. And so therefore, let's come up with a great mirage, a great sidestep, a great the red tarp for the bull. You know, look at this. Ignore the man behind the curtain. They say no. None of your criticisms of capitalism are accurate because we're not talking about capitalism. What we have is not capitalism. We have corporatism, and corporatism is the problem. If we just had real, pure, uncut, straight out of the oven capitalism, then everything would be wonderful, and we'd all be rich, and we'd all live in fucking gingerbread houses with someone playing with our balls. It would be incredible. Of course, none of that is true. It's ridiculous. And to be honest, I never even saw the point of fucking gingerbread houses. I don't get them. I'm sorry. I don't get. Maybe it makes me a Grinch, but gingerbread houses, they're not good gingerbread. They're not good cookies. They're not good houses, and they're not good. They're not good. They're not good. You can't live in them. You can't. When you eat them, they taste like unwashed hobo belly buttons. Probably because they've been sitting around in someone's house for 3 weeks collecting lint and sweaty palm prints. I suppose you can claim that they're fun for children to build. Okay, fine. But there's a lot of things that kids have fun with, and we don't normally display them all at the front of the house as representative of the entire season, nor do we tell people to eat them. I've seen kids build doll houses or Lego castles, but you don't then tell every adult guest who comes through, here, deal with this. Maybe we'll give you some of it to take home and lick. Maybe I'm missing the point of gingerbread houses. I don't know. I do like the thing that it squirts a thick line of icing like it's a construction worker's caulking gun. I like that. I'll drink that straight out of the tap. I will. I wonder if I could fill one of those with raw cookie dough and then just suck it down straight into my face hole until I go into cardiac arrest. I'm not a religious man, but I feel like that's as close to heaven as you get. Point being, people like to tell me that I've confused corporatism and capitalism, and that the real, uncut, pure capitalism is it's just awesome. It's the cat's pajamas. It's the diggity dog. It's incredible. It would be just perfect. Unfortunately, corporatism always seems to get in the way. And these people are absolutely correct with that argument, except that they're completely wrong. That argument is nonsense. Capitalism will always result in some form of what they're calling corporatism. Therefore, it is corporatism. You see, capitalism slowly amasses all the resources, meaning the money, the gold, the Bitcoin, the green smoothies, etc., into a tiny, tiny number of hands, relatively speaking. Less than 1% have most of it. You ever played the game Monopoly? How does it end? How does it fucking end? So that shit happens every time Always. That train is always on time, and we know where it's headed every single time. It may take longer here or there. It may take longer here or there because of various political revolutions or various safeguards that people succeed in demanding, but it will eventually get to its end destination. Once the few sociopaths at the top have completely outsized money, aka power, because in this system money is power, they will then create uncontrollable corporations that will be so fucking stuck together with the government that they look like bugs fucking. And the corporations care nothing about the nationality or humanity or the spotted owls or flushing the toilet after they use it. They just eat everything and then shit out garbage. Now, there are some steps we could take to slow this process, such as bringing back the idea of corporate charters. A corporation has to have a charter in each city where it operates, and if it doesn't treat the city well, then the charter gets revoked, gets taken away. You can no longer operate here, you assholes, and then the whole city gives them a big middle finger. Now, I support this idea, even though I understand that it is the equivalent of pulling down the chest of drawers behind you as you're running away from a serial murderer or a werewolf or a squirrel that's gotten loose in your house. Have you ever noticed that we would run away from a squirrel in our house exactly the same way we'd run away from a werewolf or Jack Nicholson with an axe? Just, it's in the house, it's in the house. Exactly the same. Anyway, you run down the hall. You've seen this a million times in movies if you haven't done it yourself. You run down the hall and you pull the chest of drawers or the coat rack, whatever you got. You pull it down behind you and you keep running. You know it won't stop the fucking werewolf. Never once have I seen that slow down the pursuer. Never once in one of these movies have I seen the FBI agent chasing after the guy. The guy pulls down the cabinet pulls it over as he's running, and the FBI dude just stops in his tracks and goes, shit. There's a chest of drawers here. Let's call it a day. Let's give up the hunt. We can't beat a chest of drawers. No. It only slows down the FBI for like 5 seconds. It slows down a werewolf for like 3 seconds because he'll just eat straight through that wood like with his chainsaw like fangs, or 2 seconds if it's from IKEA, because then it's made out of cardboard and chicken farts. But you pull that thing down behind you anyway because you want those extra seconds. Similarly, putting in various safeguards to slow down capitalism is worthwhile, even though it won't stop the monster. The monster will always keep coming. Even if we had corporate charters tomorrow, it would help for a few years, maybe. And then the incredibly powerful ruling elite who all have or run corporations would get the lawmakers they own them, and they will eventually always own them, to undo the corporate charter system. In that way, it is inevitable. Now, some places have succeeded in slowing down this advance a little bit. Take a look at some of the Scandinavian countries. They have more regulation. They have much stronger social safety net for those who are beaten down and chewed up by capitalism. The average McDonald's employee in Denmark starts at $21 an hour when you account for the other benefits, and they get free healthcare, of course, and they get a lot more vacation, and the burger meat has 13% less cow anus in it, etc. I made up that last fact, but the rest are true, and probably so is that one. All those things are great. I totally agree with all of them, and I recommend we here in America do them immediately, because life fucking sucks for most Americans nowadays. But the capitalist system will find a way to tear apart those requirements or restrictions eventually. It's just a matter of time. The gravity in capitalism never lets up. Even if you don't always see it pulling down, pulling the system to a fucking dystopian horror show where you have to sell your virginity for Dale Earnhardt commemorative NASCAR plates, which you can then sell for $14 so as to feed your hungry baby. I know I did. Capitalism is like glass, okay? Glass is technically a liquid, but it moves so slow, you can't really see it. If you look at glass from 200 years ago, it's thicker at the bottom than the top because gravity is slowly pulling the atoms down. It's a very slow-moving liquid. Well, that's like capitalism. You might not see it, but the gravity will eventually turn the system into unfettered, late-stage, ravenous, corporatist, dystopian shit-fuck hellhole. Eventually, the werewolf will always catch up with you. By the way, Scientific American says glass is actually not a solid or a liquid. It's an amorphous solid, a state somewhere between liquid and solid. But I didn't have time in the analogy for that much nerdery, so I just went with it's a liquid. Point being, capitalism is corporatism. They aren't separate things. So when someone says to you, no, the negative thing you think is capitalism is actually corporatism. I bet you didn't know that there, Sonny. Let me educate you, youngin'. They're full of shit, okay? They probably don't even know they're full of shit, but I promise if you got them an x-ray or a sonogram, you'd find out they're full of shit. They probably heard that defense of capitalism from some garbage thinker like Alex Jones or Rush Limbaugh or some crap like that. Somebody whose face looks like it's slowly sinking into a flesh puddle, which again is due to gravity. So I guess the lesson of all this is gravity always wins in the end. That's been your moment of clarity. Please share it. Please hit subscribe. So if you want to send in a topic, you can do that by emailing leecampmail@gmail.com. Just shoot it over to leecampmail, MAIL @gmail.com. And I might not be able to respond to all of them, but I'll try to respond to a lot of them. There's no guarantee that I will use your topic. It has to be a topic I'm interested in. It has to be sentences I can understand. And has to be something I know about. So, yeah, but you can send your topics there. Thanks to all those who have already done it. Please do hit subscribe. A lot of you might be watching this on the Redacted Tonight YouTube channel or one of the other YouTube channels. Please go over and subscribe to youtube.com/Moment of Clarity. I have multiple channels. The Moment of Clarity channel is the least suppressed of them. So please go subscribe at youtube.com/Moment of Clarity, even if you're watching this somewhere else. Also, I do these almost every single day, except sometimes. So please go over to leecamp.com to watch the latest one. There's new episodes redacted tonight at leecamp.com. There's new comedy columns that I write. Comedy and politics columns are up at leecamp.com. It's all there. So that's the best place to get it because all my other shit's suppressed because I'm saying the things that you can't really say on your mainstream media. All right. Keep fighting, everybody. Sorry I don't have time to answer questions, but I will do it next time. And yeah, I think I said keep fighting. Keep fighting.